So last week, we were unsure of Jayden's status. DQ said day-to-day. We were told Jayden would speak to the media on Wednesday going into the Raiders game. Then Wednesday morning-ish, we were told it's going to be Marcus. So Mariota spoke to the media. Then the Vegas line dove, right? It went from 6.5 to 3.5. Commanders favored over the Raiders. I think that told you everything you needed to know, that Mariota was going to get the start. DQ took it till Friday afternoon, then named Mariota the starter. I think that works, right? This week, they had Jayden address the media yesterday, which was interesting. Jayden was also, I watched him at practice yesterday. I don't want to say he was, necessarily running around, but he was certainly as active as the other quarterbacks in the portion of practice we got to watch, which is very, very minimal. Let me be clear on that. But I posted videos online. Lots of people did. Jayden was doing little drop back drills. And perhaps most importantly, Jayden spoke to the media. And Le'Veon, let's just play this thing in its entirety off the top here. And I am always a big believer in I've been doing this for years. I mean, going back to just when I did the Redskins Talk podcast. I like to play things in their entirety because it allows people to hear what we hear and try to draw their own conclusions. Jayden talking to reporters about his status for Sunday and how the knee is feeling.
Mr. Daniels, can you give us an assessment of where you are right now as far as come Sunday?
It's up to the doctor, not my decision.
For you, where do you think you're at? And
feel good.
Watching Marcus do what he did on Sunday, obviously you're a big part of that as well. What did you think?
Super happy for him. He deserves everything, and he's been my biggest supporter. So it was my turn last week to be his.
This is kind of taking a step back, but did you know that you had been hurt in the Green Bay game? How did you feel? What gave you the confidence to continue and finish out the game?
I didn't know. I'm a football player at the end of the day. You might take some shots here and there, and it wasn't stopping me from going out there and finishing the game, so I finished the game.
And then what was your reaction when Coach Quinn told you that you weren't going to be out there on Sunday?
I'll leave that between me and him. It wasn't like the most okay, yeah, I'm gonna sit out. So,
can you tell us at all how the knee injury affects you the most?
I don't know. I feel good, so I don't think it affects me.
And Terry is also dealing with an injury, unclear to us anyway, what his status might be going forward. But if he is unable to play, how big a loss is that for this offense?
He's Terry. He does what he does. He makes big plays, but we kind of was dealing with that throughout training camp. So we very much have the next man up mentality. We're confident in other people to make plays.
Jayden, how much running and cutting have you been able to do so far?
Enough to feel good if I play on Sunday. Like I said, it's not my decision.
And then have you had to play with a brace before?
No.
What's that feel like just wearing it even in practice?
Something to get used to.
Would you have to wear one if you do play on Sunday?
The doctors haven't said that decision yet, so that'll be a conversation.
Do you feel any level of discomfort when you're out there?
Nah, myself.
Okay.
How does your preparation change this week or even last week when you're getting ready as if you're going to play, but you're also dealing with an injury?
Nothing changed at all. I'm here early, and I'm still doing the same thing. Might have to do a little extra, but nothing changed at all.
Game, were you up in a box watching, and what was that perspective like for you to watch an NFL game from up top? When was the last time you watched a game the team you played for from up there?
To answer the second question first, never. It was different. You kind of just see everything differently, bird's eye view, but I was just up there cheering on my guys. I'd rather have been on the field, been able to compete with those guys, but that just wasn't part of the plans.
Like as you're watching plays unfold from up there, and do you obviously see it differently because you're at a different view, but in your head, are you like, get the ball here, get the ball there, because you're looking at it differently?
I mean, yeah, that's probably the easiest thing. I feel like that's why a lot of people have a lot of comments of what we're doing and what we should do, but they're not actually out there in the fire. So no shot to anybody, but it's a lot different from sitting up top and watching the game to actually being out there and playing.
All right, so that was Jayden's full press conference. I think when you get like little clips, it seems like he was maybe not thrilled to be up there. I think when you listen to the entirety, and I know Jayden a little bit, like his pressers are never – he's not a dude that gives you really long answers most of the time. He's kind of smiling and laughing, but if you ask – a lot of it is how you frame your question. If you give him a way to answer a question with 2 or 3 words, that's what you're going to get. I often think back with when I'm talking with Jayden to the Hard Knocks that really did a ton of damage to the Giants organization. But when Brian Daboll was taking Jayden through through like kind of just some simulations in the pre-draft process, and Daboll was like, all right, what if we change this, this, and this? And Jayden was like, I'll throw a touchdown. And it was just a casual, straightforward, blunt answer. Like, that's just kind of how Jayden operates. And I don't think, listening to him yesterday, he clearly wanted to play last week. He clearly wants to play this week. He recognizes it's not up to him and is kind of just trying to make the best of it. That's my reaction. Professor Landini, what about you?
It seems to me like he thought he was ready to go last week, and he would play this week if the doctors will let him.
I think that's right. What about you, Jeffrey? You had a funny text.
Yeah, with those injury questions, it seemed like he was in his "I'm just here so I don't get fined" phase. He really did not want to hear about those injury questions, and you can tell this is what I like about Jayden. He's really a competitor. You like B when B's in here. He's a football player. He want to play. Why are y'all talking about sitting him? You can see that heart in him when he speak, because you can tell he's disappointed he's not on the field. Hey, I feel bad for when that man healthy. It's gonna be a lot of belt passed out.
I think you nailed it in a lot of ways there, Jeff, because I said this I don't know where I was. I think I was at NBC4 last night, and people were like, oh, what do you think should happen with Jayden? Like, don't you think they should sit him? You know what football players do? They play football. They've done that their whole lives, and they are wired to go out there every Sunday. And hell, I mean, especially us on this program who know BMitch well, who played in the league for 14 years, it takes a different mindset. It takes a little bit of crazy to go out there because it's an extremely violent sport. And Jayden, as calm and cool and poised as he is, he has that little bit of crazy he needs to go out there. And he would have played last week, dude. Now, the doctors are in charge, and it's a good, healthy reminder of the separation of church and state, if you will, that Jayden doesn't just get to run roughshod and say, I'm playing. And I had a rant about this that I think they posted on Instagram last week. Like, when people try to make the RG3 comp, I don't see a comp because you don't have the player in charge of his health. When everything happened with Robert last year, Robert had a direct line to ownership. Ownership went to the team president, and the player was able to dictate the terms. Whether Mike liked it or not, and whether Mike maybe early on protected Robert enough, those things are all revisionist history now, right? What you don't have now is a player that can go to the owner and say, yo, I got to play. Because that's not how the operation is run, and it's a much healthier situation. I don't know that Jayden will play this week. I know for sure he wants to. He feels he's good to go. And I think as we all get so caught up in the reporting of day to day or week to week, or, is this severe? I think with the roster rules now, you got to just look at the machinations, how they operate. And if Jayden doesn't get put on IR, they don't think it's going to go 3 weeks. Right? Because if If it's going to go 4, you're going to put him on IR, especially with the lengthy injury report they have. And I think maybe he misses Sunday in Atlanta. I don't know that we know yet, right? But I think for sure he's on the field in L.A. And I think the day-to-day nature of this thing, I think DQ's telling the truth. If medical approves him, he's playing, period. And DQ probably wants some serious, he wants to check it out with his own eyes too. But I don't know. I hope that listening to the whole Jayden conversation there provides some clarity. I don't know for everyone that it will, but to me it does. But I also know Jayden and kind of understand the situation. Do you feel any clarity, at least on not who's going to play Sunday, Landfill, but on the situation? Does it seem clearer?
Yeah, I think that the injury is probably not that significant. If Jayden said that he didn't even realize it was hurt to begin with, and that he feels it's not particularly affecting him, and that they're just kind of waiting for the all clear from the doctors for him to go. That makes me feel a lot better. If he doesn't play this week, it's not going to be like a long-term serious thing.
Jeffrey, clarity? I came seeking clarity.
Hey, man, whatever the team says, whatever the doctor says, whatever decision DQ make about Jayden, I'm with it. I don't know if it's because he can be saying that because, like I said, he's a competitor. He could be saying it doesn't bother him that much. But, doctors know what's best.
Well, and I think what should make fans feel comfortable is the doctors are in charge, right? Like, because he's like, I wanted to play last week, and they wouldn't let me. And he's like, the conversation with DQ when he told me I wasn't going wasn't great. I love that drive. I love that fire. I love that competitive nature. And I think that's where this thing is landing. And I think what you're seeing is a healthy football operation where a stud dog competitor player wants to be out there, is doing all the work to get out there. The coaching staff is like, hey, man, we see you, we appreciate you, we respect you, but we're going to listen to medicals. And medicals are able to act on their own and determine where this thing's going to land. And I think whether Jayden plays Sunday or not, I think, if you're looking for a takeaway from this situation outside of, oh, man, Jayden's knee is hurt, which I understand that reaction, it is you've got a healthy football operation here. And I can understand, too, if people are like, why don't they just disclose more information? But that's just not how coaches operate, man. Think about all the coaches we've heard here. Honestly, Jay Gruden was by far the most forthcoming on injury information. And part of me almost wonders if Jay had to do it again, if he would be less forthcoming. That was also just a different era where I don't think the scrutiny was as intense on social media and everything, where any snippet of a report gets blown out of proportion. I think, unfortunately, that happened to Bickle the other day. And I know he was frustrated by it. I saw that clip on Instagram, all the people that respond to him, I think the tone surrounding the Jayden stuff particularly is just so microwaved that hopefully people can hear what he said, listen to what he said, and understand how this thing is going. That's why I keep saying the Terry situation seems scarier, is maybe not the right word, but provides a little more anxiety because you don't know exactly what's happening. With Jayden, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, and the medical team know exactly what's happening. And they're going to operate in the manner they see fit. And I think there's just a high level of professionalism that folks should appreciate.